Hello. Hello, 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 hello.
I won't be able to open it.
Won't be able to open it, that's right. You need Shock Jockey for that, and that's why we go into the Hall of Heroes. And that's the recap for last stream. How we doing? We good? How was the jib? How was the dark? I probably know the answer is one of those more than the other, given that I had some communication with Dark during the stream, but... Ooh. Oh, my bot just has decided not to do anything today. That's interesting. Do you wanna try that again, bot? Do you wanna actually pay attention to anything that's happening in the stream? No? Oh, okay, maybe it might work now. Still good, you have shepherd's pie. Oh. I hear people like that. No, oh, the bot now wants to crash again. I fixed that. Windows, what are you doing? Shall I? Do you know what? Screw it, I'm gonna build it on stream. I'm gonna build the bot again. Just so this works. There was another Windows update recently, so it might have screwed it up again. Okay, that was a build. Okay, I built it. Right, that's good. That's fine. Now, are you gonna load? Are you gonna do the thing? Or are you going to crash again? Then you have the long iron voyage in Valheim. You have 472 iron to bring home. Wonderful. I'm so glad you can't take it through portals for very important gameplay reasons.
Kugnath, Fanu Naemna, Bagliz Kafungin, Kathavahel, Kolth Cthulhu Kafungni, Ia Rigazengaro, Ia Hydra.
Well, that works. So, what a what a nicely organized start to the stream this is. Haven't heard that one before. It's you know, there are 60 of them. It's gonna take a while to get through them all. Yeah. Hi. Jack's up with the bot by summoning Cthulhu. Hopefully, it won't break. If it does, yeah, hi. How are we doing? Welcome to Strem. I thought I would be clever and spend the afternoon working on Chaos Chess. Yeah, hopefully you can try again, yes. Yeah, I thought I'd be clever and spend the afternoon doing programming and stuff. So as to rest my hand, so that I didn't have to... No, it's just dying. Okay, cool. Thank you. Great. Wonderful. Okay, text-to-speech is off limits, apparently. Until I work out why. Oh, indeed. Chaos Chess, yes, sorry. I was working on Chaos Chess in the afternoon, so I was like, oh, I can rest my hand. It'll be great. It'll work out fine. Apparently I haven't used a mouse for long periods of time for a while, so now my hand hurts in different ways. So that's a good discovery that I've made. That works, that's fine. It's just the text-to-speech, something to do with the voice synthesis. I use Windows' own thing, but apparently they've updated it and it's now broken. I don't know. I'll have to find a different host for text-to-speech. As Hazel retired. She's taking a day off at least. On strike, yeah, maybe, that makes more sense. I'll work something out. It's fine. If I'd known this was going to be a problem, I would have worked on programming that. Ah, dear. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Bioshock Infinite. So, here we are. Last time, we met up with these two again, and they were giving away fancy brooches. There's a carrot. One of which had a bird on it, one of which had a cage. And you had a choice as to which one to have, because Issa was very excited to have at least one of them. And so you eventually got the one with the bulb. So she has a bulb necklace choker thing now. I'm not entirely sure what it is. I think they describe it as a brooch, but I thought a brooch went on the shoulder. Yes, you also meet up with the interracial couple from the start of the game, who you did not throw a ball at, and they're very happy that you didn't throw a ball at them. In fact, you actually made a distraction to cause them to be able to run away, and now they're back together and they give you a gift to say thank you, which is very nice. We make our way into a little arcade area that has segregation on all sides and much more evidence of like indoctrinating children into extreme ways of thinking, etc., etc. Things about the history and the oppression. The Irish people are also being oppressed here. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well, Kiro. Hope all's good. And we wander along and we hear some people having some stilted conversation, and we listen to some not very good fiddle playing. And we go and try and get a ticket to go to the aerodrome so that we can take it over and get out of here. Unfortunately, the person behind the desk didn't take too kindly to our attempts to get their attention, and they stabbed us in the hand. This causes Issa to have a bit of a panic, and so she runs away while you pull out a gun and start shooting everybody. This is the first sort of person-on-person violence that she's seen since she got broken out of her tower, and as a consequence, yeah, she's not dealing great with it. Birches can go over the neck collarbone too, unless you're horribly mistaken. Nice. Might be another American English thing, possibly. Don't like customer service. That's never. People, this is a hard job. They deal with enough crap as it is. Yeah. So you chase after her, and you console her and say, "Hey, look, this is gonna happen. They went to a lot of trouble to try and keep you locked in that tower. They're gonna go for even more trouble trying to get you back." And she helps patch up your hand, and you have a bit of a who rang the bell. It's fine, don't worry. There was a knife and a bell. It's like Inscription all over again. But we have our hand patched up, which is coincidentally, as I noticed on my recent playthrough, the hand that you catch all of the things that she throws at you with, which must hurt like hell. But yeah, but we've got to we've got to get out of here. We're in this together. Let's do this. It's a bit of. She's not happy. She's not going to take part in any of this sort of violence or whatever, but she will help us out and try and make sure that we don't get stabbed again. Yeah. Oh, we also discover that she is very good at picking locks. That's a thing. However, she's not very good at magically summoning electricity, and so this is the lock that we need to pick now, because we get to the aerodrome, the gondola that moves up to the aerodrome, and we find out that it's out of power. And it's powered by something called Shock Jockey. Unfortunately, we don't know what that is, and we don't have any, but there is some in the Hall of Heroes nearby. Why is it there? I don't know. Why is there electricity stuff in a museum? So yeah, we're gonna have to go over there and do a side quest in order to unlock this metaphorical door. Ethan went for it too. Ethan's was a little bit more extreme. Then again, it turns out he's a fungus. Still not over that.
The window's locked.
The window, yeah, it's a window. Sure, Jack. Anyway, on our way there in a lift, we get attacked by a bee. Issa's doesn't take too kindly to being attacked by bees in a lift. And so she decides to just rend open the fabric of reality to let the bee out of a window. She can just sort of do this. We saw it when we first saw her in the tower. Apparently she can do it when she's in when she needs something or is in a state of distress. Apparently these things called tears just kind of appear and she can open them up. She can't really do it at will. She used to be able to do it at will when she was younger and just sort of get what she wanted. But now it's a bit more sort of in exigent circumstances. Like bees. Unfortunately, the worlds are always slightly different, so she always comes back. And this one's slightly different because there's a window there, not a lift. And that's a chicken having a little bit of a fly out there. And it spooked Issa, so she closed the thing. But yeah, it's a thing. Ethan had his entire hand cut off, and it's just like, let's glue this together with some juice. I think she's so good with locks, so they didn't have to come up with a new locking mechanic. Yeah, the lock mechanic in the original Bioshock was just solve a pipe puzzle, which is a bit weird. No, I don't know why she's good with locks. I mean, I know why she's good with locks. She was locked in a tower, and she learned to be good with locks to try and get out. but in terms of gameplay, not sure. Also, this is the point I should have mentioned, that she has part of the end of her little finger missing. And there's a thimble there instead. That is definitely not important. We'll never mention that again. So on our way to the Hall of Heroes, we see a poster. Also, is Jack a fungus? Just asking, just in case. As far as I'm aware, no. As far as I'm aware, he is a human being. He's not a fungus or a robot or a sentient jellyfish wearing his clothes and pretending it's like a Octodad. There's a miss. Hello, miss. She reads a book on lockpicking, you think? Yee. She reads and throws books on lockpicking. How you doing, miss? You alright? Having a good time? So yes, on our way to the Hall of Heroes, we find a poster saying that there is somebody called Captain Thaddeus Gajibli, apparently. That's what we called him. Who is wanted. For some reason. And Jack goes, I know that guy. I have history with that guy. I'd rather not think about it, but I know him. It looks like he's still getting into trouble. Sentient jellyfish Octodad. Yeah, it's a jellyfish pretending to be an octopus. Pretending to be a human. Hard. Read the book so you never have to pick a lock yourself. I mean, she does it with just hairpins, which is pretty impressive. I have some of the tools and I'm crap at it. Frame Man, what are you doing? We finally know something about our protagonist, and we're gonna learn more. Yeah, look at those wonderfully rendered feet down there. Excellent. Okay, so we make our way out to the Hall of Heroes, and it turns out the Hall of Heroes is well, it turns out you're not the only one causing a ruckus. Let's put it that way. Let's get the color that I need. Give me color. Thank you very much. Lots of zoomies going on here. Right. No, I'll get a cute carrot. So the Hall of Heroes is this big old museum-y area. Big old museum sort of place. And this is sort of massive old building. Lovely architecture and big old sets of stairs going up to it. Balconies going along here. It doesn't matter too much what it looks like, just that it's big and impressive, and there's a weird bridge in front of it for some reason. Don't really understand that bit. It's fine, it's design. But it is the Hall of Heroes, which implies that it is some sort of historical museum about heroes of some description. And there's also a big statue standing in front of it. I can't remember what the statue is, but it's a statue, probably of a person. Architecture. Probably, let's say it's Jefferson. That makes sense. It makes sense for it to be Jefferson, because he's a bit of an ego. As old Jefferson. He's got his big nose and his big beard. Telling me that the person who calls himself the Right Shepherd of Humanity has a bit of an ego? He's not the Shepherd of Humanity, he is the Prophet of the Lord. Come down here to wreak revenge on the Sodom below. So no ego at all, that's fine. Yeah, whatever's a big coat or something. I honestly can't remember what this statue is. It's probably nothing like this, but there's a statue. That's the important bit. And at the bottom of the statue is a sign that tells you that you're at the Hall of the Heroes. You are the false shepherd. Jack is the false shepherd, I should say. Come to lead his lamb astray. More on that soon. All of I can spell. Hero. Unfortunately, that's not what the sign says at the moment. The sign has been defaced. It has been defaced, defacing public property. It's terrible. What it actually says is that they've got rid of an E. They just sort of stuck it down there somewhere. They move the H along a little bit. They swapped the R and the O around. And they scribbled on a W. And I think they've like done something with the thing. They've put some flags over it or something. They might have daubed it in some sort of liquid. I can't remember. There's defacement going on. And by defacement I mean active combat. It turns out there are two. You're not the only one here causing trouble. There's a bunch of soldiers who've holed themselves up in the Hall of Heroes. Presumably under the, or you hear under the instruction of Thaddeus Gajibli. I'm trying to remember that name. Oh, yes, I am allowing that message. It's perfectly acceptable to say the word whores when I am writing whores. Some determined vandalism. They put work into this. Yep, allow that one as well. It was that, yes. I'm permitting a lot of variations on the word whores here. But yeah, there's a battle going on between the Columbia police soldiers and what have you, and a bunch of soldiers that have shored themselves up in the Hall of Heroes / Whores. And yeah, so ruckus is occurring. So you make your way inside, and things happen. A spotlight is shone on you as soon as you come into the building, which I'm gonna have to try and draw somehow. Hang on a minute, it's a spotlight, which means I could probably draw them real small. Squinting. So what's going on up there? And you hear the voice of a Mr. Gajibli, or a Colonel Gajibli, Major Gajibli? I can't remember what the rank was. And I specify was. And he recognizes you. He's like, ah, Jack Walters, I know you. I remember you. You're a true fighter, a true hero. Not like Jefferson. Have you come here to see how he has tarnished history? Making himself the hero in all the stories that we are rightfully owed the place of. Basically, he's having a bit of a beef with Jefferson, doing a bit of historical revisionism. He's like, I have fought in these battles, not you. But you, Jack, you were there. You know. You saw these things with me. You were wounded with me. I just realized I made it look like he was saluting as well, which kind of works. It's thematic, don't worry. And Jack's like, hi. We're just here for some shock jockey. It's fine. So if you could just show me where it is, that'd be great. But unfortunately, Ghibli's having none of it. He's like, no, you will see. As will all of my men. We have been reduced to tin soldiers. And so the only way out is a hero's death. Something like that. Well, some weird justification for him making all of his soldiers try and fight you. Basically. You don't get it. Basically, he's like, my men no longer have any respect, so they no longer have their position in history. They've had everything taken away from them by Jefferson, and they've been reduced to just tin soldiers. He calls them tin men. And thus they deserve the right to their heroic death. That's his. He wants us to die because we're supposed to die a hero's death. He wants us to give his soldiers a hero's death. And prove that we are also worthy of our title by undergoing this for some reason. He's not well. That's what I'm trying to get across here. He's a bit agitated. Hey, look, I remembered to draw the brooch. But yeah, how's everybody's week going so far? You're not that thin, Issa. All right. You're a little cartoonish, but you're still relatively human proportions. Yeah, and then he just sends a bunch of his men after you and shoot, then you have a fight. Let's solicize before you had the shade. Sorry, should have. This is something we discovered with a embroidered dog toy, or toy of a dog. If you don't add the shinies, it looks weird. And at this point, Issa starts asking you about, your history and what you do. And Jack is very, he makes it quite clear that he's not particularly proud of anything he's done, essentially. Doing okay, slowly making progress on a couple of baseball boys, some space friends. Nice. What about Spaceball boys? Yeah, so we do that. And so he essentially gives us a kind of guided tour, as it were. We don't see him for a while, but he's just sort of like shouting from balconies and shining lights on our face and stuff. New baseball boys AU. More baseball boys. So yeah, he gives us a guided tour through this place by saying, why don't you look at this story that is corrupted with his lies? And then we go to a part of the museum and we see some stuff. I'm not going to go through it all because it's mainly just a gauntlet of him throwing enemies at you. But I will roughly explain the sort of things that you see. In particular, the stories behind the things that you see. So you go through a lot of places that look like cardboard cutouts of characters and all that sort of stuff. And there's two primary events that are sort of explained. Explained from the point of view of Colombia, of course, which means racism. So yeah, I'm going to employ the censored bar again. Not new, at least not new if you count AO3. Already one of them there, there's a space AU. It's the internet, of course they got there first. Jack's not exactly thrilled about this whole endeavor, it must be said. It's relatively symmetrical, I'll cheat. More carrots, so many carrots today. Ah, something that isn't a carrot. Hooray! Yeah, so just walking through. Issa's here as well. And yeah, so Issa's asking a lot of questions essentially about, hey, what was this and what was your involvement in it and all that sort of stuff. And we start to learn a little bit about the history of Jack and what he's been up to and what he would rather people forget that he's been up to. Oh, he's very short. What he got up to was a leg shortening operation. How do shoes? Close enough. I should plan these really, rather than just going ahead and doing them. So yeah, on the one side, you have a bunch of cardboard cutouts of some devilish looking figures. And I don't mean devilish as in like devilishly handsome. No. Detailing the events of something called the Boxer Rebellion. The Boxer Rebellion was a real historical event. This game draws upon several real historical events. The Boxer Rebellion being one of them. Unsurprisingly, given that that's how I introduced it. You're drawing a fashion disaster football boy, the guy with the awful hair that you keep complaining about. It's the first time you're drawing him with his canon hairstyle, because other times you simply refused. And you're sobbing. That's fair. Yeah, there's like cardboard cutouts of like grass and stuff. And I think like sort of bits of fabric that are sort of fluttering around. This is a kind of like, were it not for the racism, this is kind of a cool museum exhibit style thing. There's things like popping up and making noises. Very impressive for 1912 or whenever this is, the 1918s. 1914s? What was it? So yeah, the Boxer Rebellion was an event in late 1800s, I'm gonna say, in which basically China said, well, a large portion of China said, we don't want anyone else here anymore. And so they decided to get rid of everyone else. And I am not an expert in this, and I do not know what started what, and who did how. All I know is I'm putting a big old redacted over this face. Ugh. Creepy. Because, yeah, it's portraying this very much in this game as, look at the evil Chinese people trying to destroy the common good that the Western world is bringing their lands, etc., etc. Ah, the Scalene Triangle, yes. And it's sort of like sort of evil, devilish grins and stuff. Again, I'm not drawing that. But yeah, it was a real thing, and basically a whole bunch of countries banded together, and I think there was like a siege of ambassadors in China or something like that, and the siege lasted for a while, and a whole bunch of foreign countries went into China, and it didn't end well for the Chinese. Lots of death, lots of killing, lots of bad times. Not good. And apparently, Jack was there. Hello! All of Chinese media bots, the whole of censoring. Oddly enough, I'm censoring, you know, a caricature of a Chinese person, so it's sort of working the other way around this time. And the woven hats, he gets, yeah. Hi, Christy, hello. We are in racist museum land. How are you? It's the Shark Boy and Christy. My favourite Saturday morning cartoon. I don't know what you're doing with your hands. We can do that now, so I don't have to bother. So yeah, we hear that Jack was actually there at the Boxer Rebellion. He fought to try and basically Jack's interaction with this. He's asking questions as to what happened and so on and so forth. And Jack's like, I honestly would rather not. Definitely done some things I wasn't happy about. Meanwhile, Ghibli is shouting from balconies saying, "You were there, you were a hero, you killed so many of them." So he's trying to like big up the things that Jack's going like, nope. One of them is trying to take glory in this and the other one's trying to forget. Yeah, how's a Lewis and how's a Christie? Are they a well? Ugh. You're not censored, Issa. I still don't really know what's going on with her hair, must be said. All I know, she has massive eyes. Whereas Miss with the bin for Jack. At the very least, Jack is actively saying, I'm not proud of any of this. Hey, if you're in the army at that particular time, it's not like you can say no. Ty, you've been doing well. You passed your first semester exams and one of the marks was 92%. And you were concerned that the shark wouldn't ace it. Pizza's done soon? Oh, fantastic. Nothing like good exam marks and pizza. I don't think I've drawn Issa twice in a way that makes her look the same anyway. I think I might need to practice how to draw Issa. But yeah, I probably haven't done a very good job of explaining what Issa's like, what her personality's like. She's not coming across as the wide-eyed innocent in this. Like, she's, if anything, a bit jaded. And a bit, like, interrogatory as to try and work out, like, what's going on. But at the same time, she is, you know, shocked by things and, you know, she doesn't take let's leave it for an answer, basically. She's a strong, independent woman who don't need no flying chicken. Ah. Get some of your exam client, you give some fancy pizza. Of course, throughout the whole thing, Jack, catch! A bag of $5 coins comes flying at you, and you catch it with a hand that was stabbed. Yeah. So that's one side of the things that have happened. And on the other side, we have something a little closer to home. I want to actually, we do learn something else about the Boxer Rebellion, which I should probably point out. I might have mentioned this actually last time, I can't remember. The Boxer Rebellion, when that happened over in China, Colombia decided to help out in this world. So Colombia is a flying city, so of course it doesn't, doesn't need to stay in America. So it just decided to fly to Peking and bomb it, basically, during this, causing quite a lot of, death and damage and destruction. They bombed the place, completely flattened it. Now, as it happened, you remembered something. Cool, I did mention this. As it happens, America wasn't exactly happy with this. It was like, we didn't tell you to do that. You're overstepping the bounds. And that's when Colombia decided, great, well, we don't need to be part of you anymore. We can bomb anywhere from above. We don't need you. We are now an independent flying city. So Colombia's technically not part of America anymore. It's Colombia. Presumably named after Columbus, etc. But yeah, this is... so that was the significance here. But you get into the big exhibit about the Boxer Rebellion, and obviously there's a big old statue of Jefferson there, the hero of the Boxer Rebellion, who managed to single-handedly save everybody. And obviously, Mr. Kajibli is not too pleased with this. Not too pleased with this way of telling events, because as far as he remembers, Jefferson wasn't even there. The city was, obviously, it was flying in the sky, but like he didn't actually go down there and fight and all that sort of stuff. He seems to be claiming that he was at battles that he wasn't. This picture isn't going particularly well, but that's fine. It's supposed to be a cardboard cutout. We had to kill people our way in Colombia. Yeah, so that's that. On the other side of things, we have Wounded Knee. As I say, a little closer to home. This was an event in a place called Wounded Knee in America, where, as far as I can ascertain, I've not done a lot of research on this. I apologize if I'm getting things wrong. These are very touchy subjects, and I do not claim to understand them. But what I do understand, however accurate it may be, is that the Americans were trying to disarm or like take away weapons from a group of Native Americans. Some sort of altercation or misunderstanding took place, and the American colonizers ended up basically completely massacring the indigenous Americans. And yeah, at the time, America decided that this was a massive victory, and all of the surviving soldiers were given medals of honor. Since then, as far as I can tell, America has apologized for this turn of events. That's in the game as well, yeah. And guess who was there? Yes, Jefferson was the man who single-handedly did all this. But as it turns out, no, Gajibli and Jack, they were there as well. And again, Jack does not want to be... Jack has regrets. Yeah, so this is going to be another... This is my attempt at doing a cardboard cutout of a stereotypical Native American caricature. These are all done like silhouette. This is supposed to be like a scary thing to scare kids and go, oh, look at these evil boogeymen. It's like, no. Again, they're sort of like hopping out of the long grass or whatever with holding tomahawks or whatever. Honestly, if it weren't like racist, this is a very well done sequence in the game. It feels like a kind of propaganda sort of museum piece. It's very well set up. It just so happens that it's also terrible. Jack, why are you everywhere? This is a good question. I don't necessarily know whether there's going to be an answer, but you could argue that there might be an answer somewhere at some point. Jack is the embodiment of war violence. Jack is the embodiment of some people who have been made to do a lot of things and are still dealing with the consequences of that mentally. But yeah, Jack is not. While Ghibli is screaming from the rafters that we should take pride. This is our victory. Jack's like, this wasn't a victory. All right. I've just come here for shock jockey. Let me leave. So our protagonist has a questionable history that he's still trying to deal with, apparently. Is he a soldier or a mercenary? More of a mercenary. He at some point in the game, I can't remember exactly when. It's not too important. I think it's soon-ish. It's around now. You also hear that after all of this, he became a hired hand and worked for the Pinkertons. In basically strike busting. If you know anything about the Pinkertons, they're also not a great not a great thing. He himself said, I think the line he gives is not exactly something you want to put on your resume. Yeah, he's not had the best of times. He's fallen into a lot of bad stuff. But then we have the question of precisely how much of it was fallen into and how much of it was chosen. This we don't know. But certainly at the moment he is denying any sort of pride in any of this happening. I have no idea what's going on with his hand. Good enough. Mercenary traveling around, that much makes sense. Lots of fights all over the place, good business. So to say back then, yeah. Ever heard of the Black Sabbath song War Pigs? This is a level all about that. I've not heard that song actually, no. Does he remember though? Remember what? I mean, he's trying to forget. And he seems to... It's not like he's got amnesia or anything. Per se. I was about to say some things about other games then. I'm not going to spoil stuff. But he definitely remembers being at these places and things happening. And him not having a good time. And he's just been... You know, probably has PTSD. It's a good song. Marvelous. Yeah. And with that, we can move on to something slightly less racist. But just equally as historical revisionisty. We go from... This is the Hall of Heroes. People that wish to be venerated, or people that Columbia wishes to venerate. And this one, you go into this place and it's much less war themed and much more... Great, love that. Much more sort of... Oh god, how am I going to do this? Actually, do you know what? Hang on, I can cheat. Cheating time! This playthrough's... The Drawthrough's going on way too long as it is. Where was it? Before that. Was it before that? It was here! Alright. Hello, Burning Nun. Remember there was a Burning Nun? That was a thing. We go into a place where there is a big old statue of a woman. This is the memorial to Lady Jefferson. The late wife of Lord Jefferson. Father Jefferson. Big old statue. always do that for statue-wise. And this is a lovely place. It's got lots of candles around, and it's all nice stonework and sort of furniture from like the house that they used to live in and all that sort of stuff. It's a museum to the history of this. You just got the impression that Jack didn't know what people were talking about mentioning broken leg or whatever in that. Broken leg? Oh, wounded knee. No, he's like, you know, I would rather forget these things. Yeah, lots of regrets. He's trying to not think about it. Yeah, and this is just it's a very nice looking place. And you learn some things about this about what's going on here, but you are introduced to this by Ghibli as, hey, look, you know, you've seen how Jefferson rewrites our history. Now let's see how he rewrites his own. So you know there's some shenanigans going on here. Remember, PTSD didn't exist yet. No. That's the thing I was reading up about, sort of noir and stuff like that, to see if I can make this October thing work. And basically a lot of people's opinions of old noir stories are essentially, you know, the reason all these people are troubled is because they have PTSD and they don't know how to deal with it. And that is the culture that made these stories. Oh no, what a bad time. Who knows? Who knows in like 50 years' time there'll be all sorts of things that are undiagnosed at the moment that we'll look back on and go, wow, we didn't deal with that very well, did we? Yeah, and there's like bushes and stuff. It's all nice. And you see some things, and so you learn a little bit about the history of Lady Jefferson. I honestly don't know if you ever find out her first name. Probably. They did have shell shock though, which is kind of similar, you know. So one of the things that you find out is that she didn't have a great life either. She had been sort of cast out by people. She was a ne'er-do-well, a wrongdoer. She had broken everybody's trust and had ruined lives and all that sort of stuff. And basically, the prophet came to her and said, I forgive you. God can forgive you, then so can I, etc., etc. And that's how they got together, essentially. The way this is delivered doesn't feel natural. That's all I'm gonna say. And you also see, while you're in here, another statue of another person, hidden behind a wall. Deliberately hidden behind a wall, because they look like they're being sneaky. And this is a statue of a, let's see if I can remember this correctly, Jefferson Beaverworth. Who was the cleaner, I think? No, servant. Some sort of worker in the household of the Jeffersons. Who apparently one day just straight up killed Lady Jefferson. Frame man. Everybody hates the frame man. Yeah. So we have a villain in this story. Perhaps unsurprisingly for the purpose of this narrative that they're trying to push, obviously, Jefferson is black. Gotta blame the black person. If you knew she was going to be important, you wouldn't have called her Beaverworth. We've got Beaverworth and Ghibli. We're absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. Nobody escapes silliness in these things, regardless of how serious the story is. Remember, not that long ago, we did one of these about nuclear proliferation, and our main character was running around in a sports bra carrying a sock. It's fine. There is plenty of silliness in these things, but there's also like... I wouldn't have done this if this story was entirely serious. It deals with serious themes, but it is also very silly. Which is kind of one of the reasons I did want to do it. Because I wanted to talk about the way this game deals with things, which is not ideal given that I have to explain the entire thing, and as a consequence, kind of mess up the way that it deals with things. But, you know. Yeah, and she's carrying sort of like a piece of string or something like that. Sort of an indicator that she like strangled her to death or something. What's that, a villain in our story? Quick, pull the minority slot wheel level to find out who they are. But this is a villain in the story as narrated by the white supremacist evangelical preacher. So it was unsurprising, perhaps. So yes, this you also learned a couple of other things. You learn, well, I might as well amalgamate it. These are in several rooms, but I'm quite happy to amalgamate them into these ones. You learn that prior to her death, I was about to say it would be slightly weird if it was during or after, but then again, it's going to be weird anyway. Lady Jefferson carried a child. The child, the lamb of the Lord. And she carried the child miraculously for but 1 week before she was birthed. What a miracle it was indeed. She came back from the death. Hold that thought. Hold that thought for about 3 weeks. Yeah, and not long after she was murdered. So, in order to protect the child of the prophet, the lamb of the prophet, the child was sealed in a tower. To be... not revealed, what's the word? To emerge at a time when it's safe, essentially. Rapunzel? You won't but sure I hate it when you do that. It's just like... Often I do it because of very small things. I just love that sentence. It is very significant. Yeah, so... It's at this point that Issa looks up at all this and goes... You know what? In all the books that I read while I was in that tower, at no point did it mention that Jefferson had a child. And Jack's like, that doesn't sound like a coincidence. And then you find out that the tower that the child was locked in is the tower that we found Issa in. It's like, Issa's like, hang on, hang on. I'm not happy about this. And there are things like the prophecy of the future of the what is it? The seed of the prophet shall sit the throne and drown in flame the mountains of man. I believe that's the expression. This game loves to hammer in certain expressions into your head. And so it's like, Jefferson has big plans for Issa, essentially. I hate to say this, but you might be a lamb. Yeah, and there's a little thing of like statue of Jefferson here, sort of carrying the swaddled babe. Again, it's like a very well done sort of scene. Hats off to the designers for all this, because it feels very... Very cool looking. Very well done. What prophecies always talk about the seed of the blank. It's the seed of the prophet shall sit the throne and drown in flame the mountains of man. And the thing I like about this scene, as I'm playing through, I'm collecting like lines that I like. And Issa basically looks up at this and goes, no, not having any of this. And Jack goes, well, it looks like he wants you to follow in his footsteps. And Issa goes, well, I want a puppy, but that doesn't mean it's gonna happen. And I just like that line. It's just funny. So Issa wants a puppy. Hooray, we've learned that. Could just mean he wanks off on the throne. That would have made a very different story. So yeah, she's like, I'm not, nope, no. It's like, this, me, no, none of that. Thank you very much. Why did that get through the filters? That's a good question. All's a fine, wanking no. Is it gonna blank the word stew? This message was held for misogyny. That was apparently that one was literally the entire phrase whores wank question mark. This is too specific. Also, welcome to the Christmas stream. I do actually put that this is not a child-friendly stream, even though I don't normally swear. It's so that we can do stuff like this. Miss, we need your bin. Yeah, so, Issa lodges her displeasure at this entire situation. And also that she wants a puppy. And I think she should get one. Also, why do none of my drawings look anything like... It's the hair. I can't seem to get the hair right. It's like tied back, and then there's a bow, and then there's like the big ponytail. Something like that. Throws bin into chat. Throws bin over chat. Also, how you doing, Mitz? You alright? You having a good furniture rotating time, I presume? Yeah, and we carry on through. From that point on, it's mostly fighting. Okay, very tired and just doodling, enjoying the stream. Yeah, have a good resting time. Sorry for making you write if you don't want to. Oh no, ow, sorry, I denied that instead of accepted it. I blocked the term whores! Exclamation mark. I pressed the wrong button. I must unblock whores! Sorry! Hang on, I can do that. I can do it now. Go to the torch. Fighting and Jack, catch! Thank you for $3. Yeah, so mostly what happens here is there's a lot of fighting. And this is where we get can't believe you're censoring you like this. I'm sorry. Oh, it's so hard to find anything in Twitch. Mess. Fickle. Fickle's fine, it turns out. Moderation. That's probably where it is. Permitted terms and phrases. That's what is in our permitted terms and phrases still. Horse wank? Horse? Kiro! They're all permitted. Baby dinosaur. Block terms and phrases. Delete. I have deleted it. It's fine. Got it. Forgot about that. Honestly. Kira still carries those scars to this day. Now would be a good time for everybody to have a nice little stretch. Have a drink. I need to stretch. Yeah, so. Didn't even notice until Ragdoll talked about it. It's fine. Never ye fret. And by that I mean I wasn't involved, so I can't really actually say anything about the subject because that would be presumptuous. So now comes apparently the most difficult part of the draw through. I have to draw George Washington again. So as we go deeper into the Hall of Heroes, there are more and more... oh no, sorry, I should probably talk about a thing that happens before this. Do you remember those tears that Issa has been doing? Or Issa has been finding and opening for us? In times of trouble, Mother Terra sings to me or something. And so occasionally in combat, she will find handy little gameplay tears that she can just open at will. Which means that you can open up a little tear to a universe that has more guns. Or like an automated turret that can shoot your enemies. Or what have you. Thank you. What did I do? Oh, the Mother Terra, was that it? Yeah, so she sort of functions as a kind of gameplay mechanic at this point. I should have paid any attention as to how to draw this. I'm gonna go something like that, right? And I want it to have a kind of sort of uncanny thing because yeah, so she finds these sort of tears and things that she can open, and you get like more ammo and things like that. I just put a sticker with G-Wash on his face. G-Wash. That sounds like some sort of weird gangster rap terminology I don't understand. But what we do find, as we go through and we do all this fighting and all that sort of stuff, and he keeps throwing people at us, to all of his soldiers, they deserve a soldier's death, not a tin man's death, etc., etc. Remember, we're still dealing with this guy. We finally make our way into like a kind of gift shop, which is presumably where the shock jockey is. Unfortunately, it is also where some animatronics are, and we walk in and all the animatronics immediately start talking. What's the Tin Man's death? Dying of old age, happily, probably. So yeah, just a whole bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, a bunch of animatronic George Washington start making speeches and talking about things. I'm gonna draw eyes like that. Why not? It's an animatronic. They always look kind of dirty. I think it's got like a flag around its thing. They're like, and so the prophet decree that we should live in harmony, etc. They do like stupid rhyming things. Actually, you do find them as you're going around learning about Wounded Knee and stuff like that, and they say very racist poems about. I want to say very racist poems. I'm not just saying culturally insensitive. Even the baddies are going Jack Catch, except as motorized patriots being yeeted at you. You have a question? Only one. How many genres are in this game? Many. We haven't even gotten to the jazz yet. It's like a thing here. And this is George Washington, apparently. You can tell because of the stick of gum. If Colombia separated itself from America, then why is it still revering American presidents? It is revering early American presidents. It doesn't take too kindly on the later ones. Because America still has a lot of principles. It's not happy. It's like, you know, Protestants still worship Jesus, even if they split from the Catholics. They're now just two different institutions that have a central founding agreement, but a more modern disagreement. That modern disagreement being, hey, why can't we be racist anymore? Again, this game is oddly prescient. This is the worst picture ever. A little bit tattered. An American flag. Is it an American flag or a Colombian flag? I don't know. Back when America was great. Make America the 1800s again. That didn't fit on a hat. That's the problem. I stress that these designs are a hell of a lot better than what I'm doing here, but this is why it's a draw through. I've got to do it from memory. Oh no, they do have. There's one thing they do have. They have like big old like flag sticking there. That's a shoe. Sort of big old sort of flag thing sticking out. Also, just want to point out, this game is like. This game is to satire what a David Cage game is to social commentary. I.e., there is no subtlety here. It's banging you over the head with a massive rubber mallet, saying satire. So yeah, just smothering everything with American imagery is, you know, its way of saying this is a satire. That would be a dope hat, though. Don't know if the joke would be obvious enough. Or make America the 1800s again. I think people would get it. So yeah, this game is many things. Subtle isn't one of them. What is this drawing? Every now and then. So this is today's drawing. You know, that drawing you look at and go, what is this? Yeah, so the motorized patriots are like, oh, so propaganda. And then you go into a little room where it's like, oh, this is where the shock jockey is. Finally, we can get in there after Issa has picked the lock. And it turns out it's empty. There's nothing there. He's nicked it all. The bugger. Ghibli has taken it all. And we're like, bugger. And then we leave the room, and now suddenly the motorized patriots are now wandering around with massive guns. I don't know how or when this happened. It just sort of did. I don't know who programmed them to be able to do this. I'm not entirely sure programming exists in this world. I guess it must if these exist. It's very mechanical programming. But it makes more sense for it to go in that way. So yeah, it's got massive guns. So now you've got a new type of enemy to fight. Hooray! The motorized patriots. I guess. Well, I was about to say I guess this game's version of Big Daddies, but it's not quite right. This game has like 3 things that could be considered the replacement for Big Daddies, and none of them really work. What's going on? You suddenly feel so tired. What? It's just a robot version of George Washington walking around with a massive gun. What's the problem? Again, this thing about subtlety, right? I don't know what big guns look like. I'm sorry. I'm not a gun guy. Or a robot guy. I'm barely a guy. Robot foots. I'm just a parsnip. What's the problem? You can't ask much from me. Well, he can, but you'd be disappointed. Chicken's the probably closest thing the game has to a Big Daddy replacement. I think so. But the problem... I would agree, particularly with the eyes and all that sort of stuff. And I think it definitely comes the closest to being like an iconic sort of visual thing, like the Big Daddies were. But at the same time, in terms of gameplay, it's very different. Because you don't do an awful lot of fighting the massive bird that can destroy massive buildings. You want this FNAF? I mean, it's sort of going for, like, Bioshock is a sort of horror series, as it were. This game is not quite that. The bits indoors are quite Bioshock. The bits outdoors aren't. Like, you have these sections, like in this museum, where everything's kind of dark and slightly spooky, and weird things are happening, and you don't quite know what's around the next corner. And then you go outside, and it's bright daylight, middle of summer, everything's gorgeous. It's like, kind of undercuts the unsettling atmosphere of the indoor sections. But hey, they wanted it to feel different. Can't complain. I mean, you can, because it's, in my opinion, inferior. But hey, I played this first, so I can't be accused of, oh, you just prefer the other one because you played that one first. No, I played this one first, and I love it. But it's also not as good as the previous one in quite a lot of ways. It's better in many others, but funny satire spooks. Yeah, that's basically Bioshock, I think, in a nutshell. Maybe I should have done Bioshock 1. It certainly would have been quicker. I thought this one would be... We're on part 6. I assumed we would be on like part 3 or 4 at this point in the story, but no, it's part 6. Anyway, motorized patriots are a thing. They will now be a recurring enemy. So if I could... This is part 7. Oh, for God's sake. I can literally see it in front of me. The bot in Discord has said it's part 7. I thought this would be a 10-part series. We are nowhere near. Anyway, speaking of nowhere near, we can basically fast forward through the rest of this area. Lots more combat and going back and all this sort of stuff. You do come across Ghibli very briefly standing on a balcony far away, so you can kind of see him. And he's basically been drinking all of the shock jockey so he can fire electricity out of his hands. And so he starts doing that from a distance while you shoot his soldiers. Be less detailed, maybe, yeah. That's probably an idea. Anyway, eventually, after much fighting and much... I was about to say after much climax, but I think we've already had that with the whole seed discussion. We make our way back to a place that we were originally at before. This is just underneath the statue of the statue of the statue. The statue of the tower that Issa was in. And we find a sort of tired and wounded Gajibli with his moustache. Just laying on the floor. He's lost all the oomph, and he's just sort of there. It's all racist, inspired by history. Moving on. I honestly thought it would be not that simple, but like there wouldn't be a great deal to it more than that. But it turns out there's actually a lot of little bits and pieces, like the Metal Gear Solid one. There's a lot of little bits and pieces that I need to seed, if you'll pardon the term, because there will be a test. Yeah, so you find Gajibli. He's on the floor. He's not doing well. He's not great. He's got lots of weird, shiny veins now that he's guzzled all of the electricity juice. He's also very old. He's a lot older than he was in the poster. He's an old, angry man. Yeah, and like I say, he's just sort of slumped on the floor, and you come up to him, and he's holding a bottle of shock jockey, the thing we actually came here for. Do you remember that? We came here for essentially a key, and we ended up getting embroiled in a racist history massacre. Essentially, that's basically what this has been. And so we pull a Bioshock, we pull a Maria, where we lean down to grab the thing, and then this, what we thought was a corpse, wakes up and starts screaming and going, ah! He's taken my history, my life, etc., etc. Finish the job. I think he says something like, finish what's on your plate. And he hands you a gun. Now, you have a choice. Do you want to finish what's on your plate? Or are you going to toss the gun aside? Oh, something else I should have said. While this is all happening, the building is being surrounded on all sides, including above, by the Columbia soldiers who are here to basically, finish this. So either way, probably not going to end well for this guy. So do you want to give this man a soldier's death as he wants? But you don't like my bet. If it's Brussels sprouts, I'm afraid I can't help you. Carrots, peas, bit of broccoli, not a problem. Brussels sprouts, might have to say no. Got all his medals. Which he's probably been stripped off technically, but I'll give him to him, why not? His racist medals. This is one thing I do quite like about this section, is it's very much like, the enemy of your enemy is not necessarily your friend. Which you don't often see in games. This is very much somebody who's got a vendetta against Jefferson. But he's not a good guy. Toss? How is that even a choice? How do hands work? So yeah, what does everyone want to do? Do you want to finish what's on your plate, or do you want to? Let me hand you the gun. There is also an interesting thing after this, which I can talk about, which I did not notice on my first playthrough, but I did notice on the playthrough I've just done, which is interesting. It may not be interesting right now, but it is definitely something that I will come back to. But we can't do it yet, because you need to make your decision. How does gun? One day I will learn how gun. But apparently today is not that day. Is that gun? That's kind of gun. Sure. Your hand and your gun are massive, sir. Which actually works with the game. The hands in this game are quite big. A little bit of stylization going on here. You didn't yell Jack Catch when giving you the gun, so no. Much obliged. He's wearing his white gloves. Big old white military gloves. I think he's got a cape around his... Everyone's wearing flag capes. It's a thing, apparently, in this world. Yeah, I do like how all the way through this section, Jack's like, I'm literally just here for some shock jockey. If you're giving me, I'll just leave. I don't want any of this. He's very much, I don't want to be a part of any of this. Thank you very much. Flag capes. Frame-man, what are you doing? Frame-man. So you mentally tuned out for a bit and Frame-man isn't helping. What's going on? We have caught up with Gajibli. He's on the floor and he's shouting at us to shoot him. Because he wants his soldier's death. Frame-man, for some reason, is not happy with this whole situation. Feel free to refresh if Frame-man is being a problem. So you have a choice as to whether or not to take his gun, shoot him, or take his gun and throw it away. Frame-man is having a time, yeah, sorry. Frame-man thought it was, yeah, no, Frame-man's... It was not as bad as it was a couple of streams ago, but it's not good. You know, a burn on the end of your fingers is better than burning the entire hand, but you don't want to get burned. Yeah, it's Frayman. Who alerted Frayman? Who said Frayman? Who told Frayman I was streaming? I'm not entirely sure why Jack's standing like a petulant child, but it's fine. If you do me the common courtesy of just not thinking about it, that'd be great. Is Issa with us? Because you don't want to kill him in front of her. She is indeed here. Now we're murdering people willy-nilly. I should specify at this point you have killed about 100 people. Fine, we're not killing this horrible racist piece of garbage. Look, as I have said, this place is being surrounded by soldiers. Regardless, this is not going to end well for this man. I think we're stuck on making the stupid decisions every chance. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say this game has explicitly stupid decisions. Well, I mean, I would argue, you know, throwing the ball at the couple is probably not. And that's probably, you know, it's not a stupid decision, but it says a lot about you. Pretty sure your eyes are getting bigger, Issa. If we leave and make them do it, well, not have studied our already stabbed hands. They help us on the floor. We're executing people now. Can we just glue a dunce cap to his head? Maybe. I mean, there's a nice smooth surface to do it on. It looks a little bit like my granddad there. Yeah, Issa's not particularly happy about this entire situation, to be honest, but okay, kill the guy once. If we kill him, we'll be giving him vindication. You just kick him in the shin real hard? Yeah, sure. Why not? You can shoot him from afar. I think I did that during my playthrough. Break his kneecap and move on. Remember that as well. There's a couple of things you got to remember at this point. I know I keep doing that, and I apologize, but right. Okay. So we don't. Can't keep doing this whenever you make a joke. I didn't write the game, all right? I didn't write a game that is equivalent to a joke. Honestly, probably a light tap would mess up his kneecaps. He is old. Bones get brittle when you're old. Something you gotta be aware of. Look after your bones, everyone. Yeah, okay, so we don't. We take the gun and we throw it on the floor. And he shouts at us, calling, "You're a tin man now! Yeah, you're a tin man!" And then he just sort of slumps on the floor. Interesting thing that does happen, though, is the gun that you throw on the floor, which I did not notice until my playthrough recently. If you have a look at it, it's a nice gun. It's just nice. It's got like decorations on it and all that sort of stuff. I always think it's a little bit weird that something designed to kill people is very decorative. But what's relatively interesting about it, I'll do a little bit of shading just for fun and for emphasis. That's a gun, right? That's what a gun looks like. Pretty sure that is. Nobody can possibly mistake that for anything other than a gun. Although it might also be a hairdryer. It goes a bit weird. Gets a little bit glitchy. Goes a bit fuzzy, a bit strange. It looks a little bit like the tears that Issa keeps opening. It's got the sort of same sort of fuzziness around the borders. But it is just a gun. And you can pick it back up again if you want. It just turns into a gun. But it's interesting. No kneecaps, just trying to be a better person, we can assume. We'll see how that works out for him. Yeah, so we take the shock jockey, we consume it, and we get electricity hands. We can now do ghosts, fire, crows, and electricity. The 4 elements, I guess. And so we make our way all the way back. We leave the Hall of Heroes, we fight a bunch of soldiers, we get out. We make our way all the way back. And we get on to the gondola that goes up to the... That's the Hall of Heroes is done. We're out of there. Racist history, done. And we make our way back and we do the shock jockey onto the gondola, and then we have to wait for the gondola to come down, which means that there's another rush of enemies that we have to endure before the thing gets there. The parrot says, I shall turn this gun into a gun! Such power. There is also, I guess it's not directly important, but I can talk about it while I'm drawing other things. Is it just a straight walk from this point? I don't think anything else happens. Yeah, I think it's just a straight walk from this point. So I'm going to draw what happens later. But while there's a fight going on, there's a building that you can break into. And in that building, you can find some dead bodies. This at this point is not particularly surprising. We solved racist history. Hooray! But you find some dead bodies of people not wearing the standard blue soldier costumes of Colombia. They are in fact wearing red. A stark contrast to a lot of the other colours that are going around. They're wearing sort of red, ragged clothes. And they're dead. They've been killed. They've been shot. And there's a message that has been left behind. And for some reason, whenever you listen to a voxophone, which is the recording equipment in this world, you get to see a picture of someone's face, the person who's saying it. I don't know how that happens. It just does. And you see this person who's wearing a big old cowboy hat. And he is leaving a message, ostensibly, for Jefferson Beaverworth. Remember Jefferson? Not really. I've only mentioned her a couple of times. Have we encountered the scariest thing ever yet? We're not going to get there for quite a while. Unfortunately. Give it another 5 or 6 weeks. Is the wind trying to knock down anyone else's house now? Yes. Yeah, he's leaving a message for Jefferson Beaverworth, and he says, you know, basically he's... I'm not calling him like a bounty hunter per se. He's a hunter. He's basically somebody who's hunting people down and sort of treating them like, you know, he's a huntsman. Only for people. And yeah, basically is seemingly on the side of Jefferson, and he's hunting down the Vox Populi, members of the Vox Populi. And he's chastising Jefferson Beaverworth for her, frankly, underhand tactics. And he's trying to encourage her, you know, deal with me face to face. Let's do this properly. A hunter. No, not a hunter, a hunter. There is a big difference. Hunters are cool, hunters are... Yeah, so big old cowboy hat man. I guess we can come up with a name for the cowboy hat man. I've got to remember it because I don't think I'm ever going to draw him. There's a couple of messages through the game that are kind of interesting. Again, I like the way some of the characters develop, but I think you only ever meet this character in voice. So yeah, we do the fight, we get back on the gondola, we work our way. Wasn't Beaverworth dead? You're mixing everything together? No, Beaverworth apparently killed killed Lady Jefferson. Beaverworth was some sort of worker in the household and just murdered her one day. And has been on the run ever since. How do you make someone look like they're looking sideways when their eyes are beads and they have no frame of reference? Yes, there's some stuff going on. So yeah, we work our way up via the gondola up to the Lady Jefferson Memorial Airship, which is what we were trying to hijack in the first place. And we get on and we hijack it. Hooray! Now we can get away from this horrible, horrible city. And everything will be great and grand and fantastic. And so Issa's like, cannot wait to see Paris. Paris is going to be absolutely amazing. I've read all about it. I did loads of paintings about the Eiffel Tower. Just all the things you can do in Paris. It's just absolutely phenomenal. She's very happy. She's not too happy about how she got here, but this is, you know, we can get away from all this. It's going to be a time. Here's some generic levers. What Jack is going to pull. How do arm? Not like that, that's for sure. This is why you sort out the anatomy first, before trying to go in and do detail. Hijack, go up and become hijack. That's why it's called hijacking. It's not, I made it up. Yeah, so we take the ship, we punch in our coordinates, and off we go. And we live happily ever after, the end. So I hope you all enjoyed the Bioshock Infinite Drawthrough. Next week we'll be starting Metal Gear Solid 0.4. No, that's Kingdom Hearts, isn't it? Neat. It's all well and all good. Unfortunately, that is not the end of the story, as you may possibly have ascertained. Despite how cleverly concocted and performed my ruse was, we are in fact not going anywhere. Jack and his big old booty not going nowhere, because we punch in the coordinates, off we go. Next to the DLCs, which I haven't played, but we'll play them on stream probably. No, because we punch in the coordinates, and Issa's like, hang on. That's not Paris. And Jack goes, what? Lisa's like, that's not Paris. Look, Jack, I spent a long time in the tower. If there's one thing I had time to do, it's read. I know a lot about maps. I know a lot about the world. That ain't Paris. That's Manhattan. And here is the latitude and longitude of Manhattan. I don't know what that is. Let's find out. And Jack's like, oh, okay. Might have lied a bit. I'm not taking you to Paris, I'm taking you to Manhattan. It fits, don't worry about it. It's a bigger display than I originally said. And it's got like the, you know, wheels and stuff. It's an analog display. What am I going to do? Okay. Do you really think she was going to Paris? Yeah, we convinced her, oh, that ship's going to Paris. We can go to Paris. All right, we can get out and go to Paris. She doesn't know why we're here. And it's at this point, Jack has to explain why we're here. Basically, Jack says, well, I got into, got into some debt with some people. They agreed to take my debt away if I came here and got you. And she starts crying. She's not happy. She's like, oh, how could you? I'm just gonna get trapped again. No, no, no. Sad times. I am always the victim in these circumstances. Which, to be fair, she's been locked in a tower her entire life. That's a reasonable assumption. And Jack starts consoling her. It's like, look, I honestly didn't have a choice in this. I'm literally just, I am in big trouble. These are the sorts of people you do not want to have a debt with. Yeah, and he says, oh no, I'm so sad. So sad. I am wiping the tears from my eyes. She is so very sad. Woe is me. There we go. Thank you. all I have in my brain is, I'm so sad. There's Miss coming in here with the second draft revisions. Much obliged. And while she is doing that act, sorry, not act, it's absolutely sincere, crying, woe-betide, etc. She picks up a wrench off of a table, which she promptly turns around and smacks us in the face with. Jack, catch these hands! Fair indeed. What is this drawing? How is any of this at all? Just like in general. Ow. Have we considered asking for an explanation for this? I demand answers. You're floating, Issa. So yeah, she knocks Jack out, absolutely cold, leaves him on the floor, and then gets to the controls herself.
I can't open the door.
No, you can't. You're on the floor, unconscious. But thank you for trying. So yeah, if you're in any doubt that Issa is not not your typical damsel in distress character who's gonna take things lightly, it's, oh no, a man, this horrible man is gonna take me, smack you with a wrench. Screw you. Let's go to Paris. This definitely needs as much silly detail in this drawing as is physically possible, doesn't it? This would not work as a joke without just copious amounts more, just more, a little bit more. Add some shading, perhaps. That'll be wonderful. It's fine. Can't open the door. I'm on the floor. Everybody do the dinosaur. You'll be pleased to know I do not have a you should remember that sentence for that one. As far as I'm aware, there are no dinosaurs in this game. Or are there? And so Issa and Big Bird become friends and fly to Paris. The end. Interestingly, obviously this is not the end of the game. I've already said, well, what's the DLC possibly? Maybe, I don't know. I wouldn't put it past the DLC for there to be dinosaurs, to be honest. Lucky you can't let Hazel silently judge you. Yes, Hazel is on a break today for some reason. Yeah. So, alas, like I say, we're not near the end of the game. So this doesn't work out quite as well for Issa as we might have hoped. I would have been perfectly happy for the story to end there with just Issa flying off and leaving Jack unconscious on the floor. But no, and you would have thought that it would be, Chicken that would come along. I don't think it's Chicken that causes problems. It would make sense, but I don't think that's the case. Yeah, let's just call this the end. I told you this was going to be a short series. Let's move on. No, we haven't got to the silly stuff yet. There's lots of silly stuff. We haven't heard Tainted Love. Was this someone? There is a song later in the game. I think somebody suggested I record that with a kazoo. I might give that a go. Well, don't worry about it. Yeah, but unfortunately, it is not an issue for Chicken. Chicken does not come aboard. In fact, we are hijacked, I guess. Kind of, maybe, possibly. I think this is what happens. Yeah, we are hijacked by a bunch of people in red uniforms? Not really uniforms. Clothes. And late reaction pooch pets. It's fine. Do not apologize for pooch pets. Yeah, so the ship is hijacked. Hijack. That's what they said when they came aboard. It was funny. And a bunch of people come on board, and a bunch of people are dragged on board, and the ship turned. Well, I can just reuse this for purposes of a little bit of demonstration. No, I don't want to get. This is hijack. You're hijack. This is a hijack. Performed by Hijackman. Must land and becomes LowJack. We will end this on LowJack. Why not? So yeah, we're on the floor doing the dinosaur, and we get pulled up by the scruff of the neck by the people who have hijacked the thing. But at this point, Issa has jumped off and has gone somewhere, presumably somewhere safe. Didn't just jump off into nothing. She looks at us as she runs off, as if to say, should I? Nah, screw it. Rightly so, I think. So yeah, Jack wakes up, bleary-eyed and confused, not for the first time. I don't think there was a hallucination in this one. We weren't drowning, so it doesn't count. And he finds, as I say, this the ship being occupied by quite a lot of people, quite a lot of injured people. People sort of laying down in sort of stretchers and things like that. But as I say, the clothing is not the usual livery of Columbia. It is red rather than blue. And I guess probably more importantly, the skin is not white. As we have found ourselves, not exactly in the capture of, we're just here. Basically, this has been hijacked by a group of people calling themselves the Vox Populi. And at the risk of, you know, what's the opposite of burying the lead? At the risk of putting the lead on a pedestal with shining lights around it. You know, not all of the people here are black. Some of them have Irish accents. But yeah, basically the Vox Populi have whoever they are, whatever they're doing. We haven't really explored too much what's going on here. But hey, we've just gotten rid of one villain. Not that they're a villain. Got rid of one person who's in our way, basically. The perfect. Basically, nobody in this city actually wants us to be able to get out. This is the big problem. More importantly, they want this ship. It's really useful. Probably for very similar reasons as we want it. It's a good thing to have just flying around and doing stuff. It's a good ship. Yeah, so we get picked up and we're like, the person's, I think maybe they're wearing like a bandana or something. They got like scrappy little fadeaways. I've made them look like a pirate. They are hijacking a ship. That is fair, but that wasn't the intention. Their clothes are scruffy. Getting pulled up by the tie. Yeah, and basically, we come face to face, rather more intimately face to face than what I've drawn. Literally pulled face to face with somebody whose face we may or may not recognize ever so slightly, depending on how well I can draw it. Can you guess who it is? Unless, of course, you already know, in which case you're not guessing, and that's cheating. And quite frankly, I would demand a refund. Jeff Bridges, yes. It's Jeff Bridges. Well, you got the first syllable, right? Anyway. No, we come face to face with Bootstrap McGee. Yes. Right on the money. No, it is Jefferson Beaverworth herself. person who absolutely definitely murdered Lady Jefferson. There's too many Jeffs. So many Jeffs. So yeah, she's here. And she's like, who are you and what are you doing? And we go, I'm flying this ship out of here. And she says, this ship? This looks like my ship now. Or I don't think she says my ship. I think she says this is our ship now. This ship belongs to the Vox. And we say, look, I need the ship to get out of here. I'm not here to, I don't have a problem with you. I don't even barely know who you are. And she's like, well, that's a problem. Because you see, either you're on our side or you're on their side. Either you support the hardworking man. You support the person. You support the people on the streets. You support the people who are hard done by, who are under the thumb of Big Jeff. What? I have no idea what she's wearing. Is she wearing like a sort of neckerchief sort of thing? She is now. And you know, we say, sure, like whatever gets me the airship. I just need the airship. I'm delirious. I got knocked out like 5 minutes ago. And she says, look, tell you what, you can have your airship if you get us something just as useful for us. A massive collection of weapons. Because we're going to need them. Because there's a storm a-brewing. I'm trying to remember, like... But we still need the airship when we don't even have ESA anymore. I mean, we still want to get out of here at some point, probably. We are still however many thousands of feet up in the air. And presumably, the only reason we're here is to, you know, get ESA, so... Our plan is probably to try and find ESA and get her back. Yeah, and she says, look, here's a card for somebody in Finktown. No, hang on, not Finktown. Somebody in... How can I make this work? I can't think of anywhere. Let's just Terminaton. In Terminaton. It's fine. Flying around in an airship that's known to be hijacked isn't going to make it easier to find ESA. It's true. The racism exhausted you. It's fine. Don't worry about that. This is not like we're going to see any more of that. Anyway, she gives us a card and says, go and get us a massive cache of weapons. And we're like, what? How the hell am I going to get you a massive cache of weapons? It's like, there's this guy. He lives in Terminaton. All you got to do, just convince him to be on our side. I'm sure it wouldn't be that difficult. Can't remember his name now, actually. Doesn't matter. We're not going to get to him for a bit. Yeah, do that, and we'll give you the airship back. And then she literally kicks you out of the airship. And you land on your back. I don't know if she's wearing... You can only see her from the top up. I have no idea what she's wearing. And that might be sort of scraps and stuff. Very scrappy outfit in more ways than one. Like red armbands and stuff. This guy's also here. He's part ghost. Yeah, we get kicked out. Lady, we're literally a wanted man. Now, if you're hey, there's a Chib, you know the whole being tired by the racism thing. We land in a forced labor camp. Literally, people chained together, banging rocks in time with a beat. But we'll get back to that next week, I think. I feel like we've probably had enough. I promise it gets goofy. I promise. But yeah, literally, as you're waking up, you see like the people down below banging rocks with hammers, wearing like striped clothes or whatever, to a delirious rhythm being pumped out over a big. You're so tired. I'm sorry. It will get goofy. It just also happens to go. I mean, honestly, his portrayal of racism is also very goofy, but at the same time, very strong. Which is again why I wanted to talk about it. It's like this is not the this is not the sleekest of stories when it comes to these things. But how did we survive? Now that's goofy. I mean, the fall, it was quite a big fall, I would say. Like 4 or 5 stories or something like that. We just fell straight onto our back. But again, there is actually an in-universe explanation for that, which I can't talk about. So yeah, apologies for all the racism. There will be... I'm gonna say only 2 big... I mean, we've landed in basically a forced labor camp. So there is gonna be more mentions of racism, but I would say that the story beats from now on are mostly not racism. And we start getting into the weirder stuff. So yeah, but we have now arrived in Terminaton, which is the name I'm going to give this place. Just leap off the city, Jack. You'll be fine. You've already fallen several thousand feet into a artificial sea. You can do it into the real one, surely. We'll see.
I can't go that way.
Can't go that way. Yeah, and it's at this point I definitely have to end, because this is as far as my recent playthrough has gotten up to. I do remember what happens next, but the precise sequence of events is, yeah. But yeah, we're gonna... The beginning of the next one is gonna go quite hard on the whole, this place is not good angle. I mean, in general, the whole story is about this place is not good, but yeah. But then we're gonna start getting into the weirder things. The weirder things are gonna start soon. I promise. There is weird stuff in this game. Everything's fine. Don't worry. By the end of the game, you will do what I did and forget just how much racism there is in it. And then you'll say, let's do a draw-through of it. And then 7 weeks later, you'll realize that its beginning of this game is mostly racism. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I thought this would be quick. Yeah. But other than that, oh geez, don't worry. After this, we'll do the Project Via thing, and we'll all get round and we'll all make a little fantasy world, all of our own, and it'll be lovely and nice. And there won't be any racism in sight unless you want to write about it, which would honestly be weird to introduce to a project like that, but. Shrimp! Shrimp! Shrimp isn't racist. They don't understand what a person is. They're just like, ooh, hello. Oh, I squished you. I'm sorry. It's a good draw. I hope people are enjoying it regardless of how exhausting it is. It's sort of, I don't know, the tone of this game is just sort of all over the place, simultaneously trying to be deathly serious while also being very goofy. It's quite, you know, it is quite Kojima in that sense. But you are enjoying it, just for some reason got really tired halfway through. It's understandable. It's a lot, and again, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do it, because Like, Bioshock deals with a lot of things, but those things aren't quite as severe as this game. And the other reason, the main reason I wanted to do this game is that when this game came out, it felt a bit extreme and a bit sort of detached and weird. The last 9 years have made the game, the things this game is talking about quite, it's brought them to the forefront. Yeah, the perception of the world has changed ever so slightly over the last 10 years or so. So, yeah, but don't worry. We haven't even, you know, the very first thing we saw in this game was a book about quantum physics and brains making up memories and stuff. We'll get to that stuff soon. Over your edition, Barry Blight and the Terrible Twosome. Barry Blight? And who? It's chicken time. Sorry, my brain has just stopped. Chicken! It's chicken. Oh no, it's chicken time. Issa, run! Yeah. Yeah, thank you for coming along. That was a stream. I'll find out, don't worry. Yay. So, I will be back on Saturday. Swing. Not with Wildermyth. I'm not entirely sure what I will be back with. I might do something. We'll see. We'll work out something to do. Wildermyth will not be happening because various people have various real-life things to be doing. So something else will happen instead. Probably won't start a new game. I'll start that on Tuesday. You will honestly talk a lot about such things IRL and read and watch documentaries, search, so it's fine for you. Yeah. That's exactly why you feel tired. Exactly, that's what the scroll is at the bottom. It's like, I love games, they're great escapism. That's why this has such lovely themes as racism and oppression and historical revisionism. When this game came out, those things were, you know, they were novel. Because we thought, oh, these things are in the past. Yeah. I'll be back with something on Saturday. Presumably it should be Nether's Day, assuming I haven't just completely drained all of the life force out of Chibi. There may well be a good old chip stream tomorrow. There may be scattered dark clouds, I guess. Scattered streams with Dark playing Elex. And characters hiding behind foliage. It's Thursday. I know. I always think this when Wednesday comes along. That it's Thursday tomorrow. No, that it's like, so how is it Wednesday? I'm sure it was only a couple of days ago I did the Drawthrough. Oh, you're going to do a chill stream after this? Marvellous. Oh, you might scream, Lewis might do a stream as well. Many friends doing streams. Probably stream tomorrow. Many streams by many friends. Always a grand time. Looking forward to it. Yay, friends. Hopefully, significantly less racism. Yeah. And I'll be back on Saturday with something. Then Sunday with friend draws. Tuesday with a new game. And by a new game, I mean quite an old game. I'm continuing my PS1 theme, I think. Yeah. Hope everyone had a time. Preferably good, but certainly understandable if not. Yeah. And I will see you around. Have a lovely time, everybody. Have a great week. And yeah, I'll see you around. Goodbye. Thanks for being here. Bye.